some technical difficulties, so I'm going to redo this video. But this is a case of a tragic domestic violence case that took the life of a friend who was trying to defend and protect her friend. This is a case where loyalty can cost you your life, and that's why it's important to talk about this case. So who is Brittany Booker? Brittany Booker is a 30-year-old woman. She lives in Racine, Wisconsin. She has 5 children. She is a single mother. She loves fashion. She loves dressing up. She loves doing her hair in beautiful ways. She loves going out. She's just a very vivacious young lady. And she is very loyal to a fault to her friends. In fact, she's so loyal to her friends, her life was prematurely, tragically taken because she was being a loyal friend. So let's talk about this case. So Brittany has a best friend, and let's first go and talk about her and her best friend. So she has her 5 kids in Wisconsin, and she has this, so here's some of her fashion that she loves to dress up and go out. She likes to color coordinate her colors. She's just a very beautiful young lady who is into, going out with her friends, that dressing up. She takes care of her kids by herself. So she's a very devoted, committed woman to her kids. But she has a young lady here that is her best friend. And her best friend is just recently turned 31 years old back in March. Let's go back to the right date, March of the 11th, okay? And her friend was involved in a brutally domestic violence relationship with a gentleman by the name of Terry Jackson. Terry Jackson is 41 years old. He just turned 41 back last year in July. This demonic man, I say he's a demon because he's very history of a violent man who has an extensive criminal record. But this gentleman is in a relationship with Brittany Booker's friend. He's very violent. So here's what's going on in the background before we get to the incident that happened. So there are rumors going on that, and I don't know if this is true because it's all rumors and allegations that are being said in the background. So some people are saying that Terry Jackson was violent towards Brittany Booker's friend because he claims that she was cheating. There were some cheating allegations. No one knows if this is true because, again, it's just a rumor. But basically, there was a history of this man being violent. Not only has he been violent towards her, but he has a criminal record. We know that he has a criminal record because this man already has a booking photo from a prior incident. So he's been in jail before. This man doesn't want to go back to jail. And that's why Brittany Booker is not here today. And then we're going to talk about that. So basically her friend says, hey, can you come with me I'm going to go pick up my belongings from my ex, which is Terry Jackson. She wants her friend to come with her. Brittany says, okay, sure. She drives her friend over there to the ex house to go pick up the belongings. And while she's there, Brittany also has one of her daughters with her in her arms. So she has one of her children with her. Probably not a good thing. When they get to the house, violence ensues. This man, Terry, engages in a violent rage, starts beating Brittany's friend in front of her with a hammer. He just begins the attack of beating her. Brittany immediately calls 911 while she has her daughter in her arms. As she is calling 911, this enrages Terry Jackson because now Terry Jackson, who is from Chicago, he is now in Wisconsin, and he has some ties to Texas as well. But this enrages him because he doesn't want to go back to jail. He is so enraged. This man literally sees red, starts charging Brittany, and begins brutally attacking Brittany now. And as he is beating her, he starts uttering, comments about, you're trying to call the police, get me go back to jail. He doesn't want to go back to jail. And how do I know this? It's because it's actually a Facebook post that Brittany puts on her Facebook a couple weeks after the incident. So this incident occurs when he's attacking her with the hammer on February 24th of this year. So he charges Brittany. He's beating her profusely with this hammer. As she tries to escape, for the first few hits, she has her daughter in her arms. So I'm not sure if the little girl gets out of the arms, gets away, but somehow the little girl somehow is no longer in her arms. That's when Brittany starts running profusely, screaming, yelling door to door to try to get someone to help her. Unfortunately, no one does help her. Sadly, we don't have good citizens now or good Samaritans to try to help. But he beats them so bad to the point where they're unconscious. The only reason why he stops the attacks is because he believes that they're dead. Because that's what he wanted. He didn't want to leave anyone alive. At least these two women that could at least be a witness. Because he didn't want to go back to jail. So he leaves thinking that they're dead. But luckily, they're both are alive. But the girlfriend is in critical condition. She ends up in hospital. There's allegations that she's still in the hospital till this day, just brutally, beat to a pulp. Brittany sustains a concussion, a blood in her skull, I believe blood in her brain, and she is released from the hospital. So she goes home with her family. But her father talks about in prior interviews that she has reported to him that she was terrified. This woman was terrified that Terry was going to come back for her. This man, meanwhile, has been on the run for the last 2 months. He's had cousins. He's had prior girlfriends driving him to different states, giving him transportation. One person who was in a relationship with him supplied him with the SUV that he used to get to the location, basically to first beat both individuals with a hammer. And then that same SUV was used to drive back to Wisconsin eventually to finish the job and take Brittany's life. So after he beats Brittany and her friend, there's a cousin and there's a girlfriend and there's another woman that facilitates resources for him. I think the girlfriend, we're going to talk about her a little later. The prior girl that had a relationship with Terry, she gives him a ride, supplies him with the SUV to get to Chicago. I don't know if she drives him to Chicago or she gives him the SUV, but we're going to talk about that article where she facilitates the resources, transportation for him. Also, there's a cousin that actually hid him in her house. That's why he wasn't arrested the whole time. There was cops trying to find him during the first incident while Brittany was still, and terrified for her life. But the cousins are hiding him in her house. Then they eventually give him the transportation to get to Chicago. Then he eventually goes to Texas. So 2 months go by. This man is hiding out in different states. He's being hidden in different ladies' houses, cousins' houses, prior relationship people's houses. People are all harboring this man, protecting, aiding and abetting this man, while this woman is in fear for her life. She tells her father that she's terrified. She tells her father that every time she exits her vehicle, she runs for dear life to get into her house because she's literally terrified. Okay? She has her 5 kids still in the house, and she's all alone. She doesn't have any men or anybody in her house to protect her. So that's another issue that we have with this case. We're going to talk about some lessons to learn from this later on. So here is the post that she posts March 5th, several weeks after the incident. So the incident happens February 24th. I believe during this time she's in fear for her life. There's people on social media posting things about, oh, that's what your friend gets for cheating, whatever the things are saying. And the reason why I suspect that is because of what she says in this post. And let's talk about what she says. She says, I have not publicly spoke on this, but anybody who want to defend a man that beat me and my friend with a hammer need to unfriend me now. I have my DAM daughter. I had my DAMN daughter in my hands the first couple of hits. I ain't do SHIT to him. I didn't even touch him. He attacked me and said, BITCH, you not calling the police on me. So see, she did not realize why he was angry. She says, oh, I didn't do anything to him. That's not why he was mad. He was mad because she was calling the police because he didn't want to go back to jail. That's why he's still on the run now. That's why he has all these people protecting him, because he does not want to go back to jail. He's been there before, which doesn't make sense, because if you don't want to go back to jail, why are you beating on women and trying to take their life? These people don't have any type of logic to the behaviors that they do. But anyway, he says, I'm not calling the police. You're not calling the police on me. That's why he did this. and he hit me and even chased me while I knocked on doors, begging them to help me. So he's chasing her down, still trying to finish the job while she's trying to ask for help. She said, I could be dead right now. My friend could be dead right now. All y'all stories and what y'all heard. Oh, God, what just happened? Jeez Louise, what just happened? Sorry, guys. Hold on. Now it doesn't want to come back up. There it is. Okay. So it says, I have not publicly spoke on this, but anybody who want to defend this man that beat me and my friend with a hammer need to unfriend me now. I had my DAMN daughter in my hands, my arms, the first couple of hits. I ain't do SHIT to him. I didn't even touch him. He attacked me and said, BITCH, you not calling the police on me, and hit me and even chased me while I knocked on doors, begging them to help me. I could be dead right now. My friend could be dead right now. All y'all stories and what y'all heard need to cut it out, basically. I think that's what she's trying to say. It was never because she cheated. Either it don't even matter what anybody did. Once a man picked up a hammer, he left me with a concussion, over 20 staples in my head, and a fractured skull with small bleeding on my brain, literally left us for dead. Y'all can go the F to HELL. ISTG, y'all make it so hard not to speak on things these days. F y'all. So this is just so sad what this woman went through. She was already terrified. She talked with so much bold and confidence in this post, but behind closed doors, Brittany was so scared. She was so terrified for her life. Her father talks about how she literally ran for her dear life every time she got out of her car because she was so scared that he was going to come back for her. And during this whole time, there's women that were aiding and abetting him, cousins, relatives that were hiding him out in the house, giving him, facilitating transportation for him to basically hide out in houses, to go to different states, to travel to Chicago, travel to Texas. This man has been traveling all kinds of states. He's in another state right now as we speak, still on the run. And then meanwhile, as days go by, her friend, who was the girlfriend, this is the girlfriend, she has a birthday. And sadly, her friend in March 11 was her birthday. She turned 31. This man is 41, 10 years her senior. So we already know that's a red flag there. A lot of those older men want to date these younger girls that are decades younger than them so that they can control them. A lot of them have domestic violence in those type of particular relationships, which this case is showing. But Brittany Booker puts on the birthday. She said, it's me for her friend's birthday who's in the hospital right now. It's me and her forever. Happy birthday to my other half. So this was her best friend. She tried to protect, that she'd lost her life protecting. I know this ain't how we planned on how you wanted to spend today, but we gonna make it count because you still alive and beautiful. I love you so much. Happy 31st birthday, sis. And it's sad because I don't know if her friend is actually conscious, if her friend actually knows what eventually happened, that this young girl, this woman now, Brittany, her friend is gone. Her friend's going to feel so guilty if she does. I don't know when she ever wakes up or what's going on with her right now in terms of the hospital. But when she wakes up, man, when she finds out what happens, she's going to feel so guilty for this. It's so sad. So this is what she posts on March 11th. And meanwhile, this man, Terry, is still being hidden in different houses. I believe at this time he's in Texas, hiding out. This incident occurred in Racine, Wisconsin. Brittany Booker, let's talk a little bit about her. She went to Gateway Technical College. She studied at Gateway Technical College. She went to Washington Park High School. They say she lives in Dallas, Texas, and from Racine, Wisconsin, but I believe she was in Wisconsin because that's where the incident occurred. It occurred in Wisconsin. So that's what happened. So basically she posts this, but on the night of the incident, let's go and skip over to that. Let's look at a couple of pictures of her just to get a background of her, and then we will talk about the video surveillance, because in her home she has a doorbell surveillance, and this is wonderful because this is going to be golden key evidence that is going to really seal the deal for this case. Not only do we have the motive, we have the prior incident, and we also have video surveillance in this case. But before we go to that, and we actually start talking about what happened on the night of the incident, let's just do little pictures of her just to see who she was, because, you know, it humanizes the individuals in this case. You know, it's just sad. She's only 30 years old. She has 6 kids, you guys. 6 children that are without a mother. And man, wait till I tell you guys what actually happened on the night, because it's even more tragic. So this woman loved fashion. She's really into beauty, her hair. She, you know, was a wonderful mother. She loved, you know, her 6 children, and now they were without a mother. So here she is, only 30 years old, a very loyal, committed friend, a daughter. Her father is just traumatized and devastated from losing his daughter. So in a picture when she was pregnant. So you can see, like, she really is into fashion and beauty and hair and all kinds of cool things like that. Just a really good person who is just very loyal to a fault. I think that was probably a guy she was dating, and that's one of her kids. So let's actually go now to the incident. So the incident happened on April 24th at night. And that's what these kind of criminals do. They wait and try to get you at your most vulnerable time, when you are asleep, when your guard is down. Okay? And we're going to talk about some lessons we can learn from this. That's why I'm going over this case. But what's great about this is she has a Ring video surveillance. And the video surveillance catches this man breaking into her home while she's asleep and her kids are in the bed. And he has a firearm. And I believe in this picture, and this is all allegations, guys, I don't know exactly because you can't see it in the camera, but I believe he had that firearm while he was pointing it at her, telling her to leave the house. And the reason why I believe he was having her leave the house, because he didn't want the children to wake up. All right. So I believe, is pointing a gun at her in this picture. This is what I think. There's no video picture of it. There's no news report of it, but I'm telling you what I believe, because there is, and I'll tell you why, because we'll tell what happened to her. So she is instructed to go into her car. That's outside. You can see in the video here, when you see the fear in her eyes, she is literally terrified. Terrified, because I believe in her mind, she's thinking the fear that I have anticipating for the last 2 months has come upon me. This woman has been fearing this for 2 months. She has been hiding out. She's been running to her car. She's been doing all these things to try to protect herself. But we're going to talk about some things that, you know, we can learn from this afterwards. But so he gets her in the car. He begins to beat her profusely, because when they do find her body, they find bruises on her where she was beaten. And then he proceeds to shoot her in the head, execution style. Very sad. Okay. The children wake up. The older son wakes up. He doesn't see his mother. He looks at the video surveillance to find out what's going on. Where's his mom? When he looks at the video surveillance, he sees this man ordering her out of the house. And I believe that's when he found his mom in the car, and just this whole tragedy unfolds, you guys. So let's take a look at this video surveillance, and then we'll talk more about this case.
A man's voice seeming to say, go. Leonard Larry says Ring doorbell video captured his daughter, Brittany Booker, in some of her final moments alive.
Brittany was the sweetest kid. She did everything on her back. She helped anybody.
Larry says the man in the video is Terry Jackson. Racine police say the 41-year-old broke into Booker's home and left with her. Authorities say her body was found nearby hours later in her vehicle.
You didn't have to do that to my kid.
This man is dangerous. He's callous. He has no regard for human life. And if you know where he is, you need to let us know.
The criminal complaint details Jackson's assaults of his ex-girlfriend and also Booker. One attack on February 20th where his bruised ex told police Jackson beat her unconscious in her car. And another on February 27th where she says Jackson attacked her and Booker with a hammer as she tried to get her belongings from his home.
She was holding my grandbaby, and because he was beating that girl again, and Brittany tried to break it up.
Larry says police could have done much more to protect his daughter. Now he's urging the public to come forward.
This dude needs to be off the street. He took something from me very precious, and we'll get...
All right, guys. So that is that case, or that video. You can see the video surveillance where you can see that they were literally, you could see the fear in her eyes. It's so sad, but you can see the fear in her eyes when he's ordering her.
Build your brand online with a beautiful logo.
I hate when that does that. So let's see if we can get, saying I don't have video surveillance. Trying to get back to an article. So there are 4 women, you guys, that have been arrested in this case as well, who have facilitated helping this man not be arrested. Or here's the women right here. I think it's 3 women, sorry. There's 3 women here. These 3 sick women. Diamond Hood, who was in a prior relationship with Terry Jackson. The middle one is the cousin. You can tell they look just alike. Her name is Alicia Sykes. And then this other woman, Carmelita Walker. These 3 women have been I believe they should feel responsible for the death of Brittany, because but for them giving him resources, transportation, all the things that they help facilitate this man's hiding out and escaping, he was able to avoid getting arrested the first incident and eventually get back to the house to finish the job, what he ultimately wanted to do. Because here's what happened. When he was escaping, he thought that they were both dead. Okay? When he found out they were alive, or at least when he found Brittany was alive, he returned back to Wisconsin to finish the job, what he wanted to do, because he didn't want to leave any witnesses, because in his mind, he thinks if he takes their life out, he's not going to go to jail, which is the most dumb thing. These criminals think that just because they take the life of the witnesses that they can't go to jail. It's just so dumb, because all they do is add more crimes to their profile, which prolongs their time in jail, which was the ultimate thing they were trying to avoid in the first place. It's just stupid. Lack any type of knowledge, you guys, these people. So Racine, Wisconsin, this is where it happened. So let's read this article because it gives us some key facts that we want to hone in on. All right. So it says in Racine, Wisconsin, Terry Jackson Jr. I want you guys to know all these names. That's why I'm really honing on the names, because these people need to be known for what they did, and he needs to be found. So Terry Jackson Jr. is accused of shooting and killing Brittany Booker in Racine over the weekend. That was April 24th. He is still on the run. However, 3 women have now been charged with harboring, aiding in him in 2 incidents, you guys. They should be so ashamed of themselves. Look at these sick, pitiful people. Cousin, prior relationship. I don't know. They didn't really go over the details of what her relationship is. I don't know if she's a friend or what she really is, but she aided and abetted also. Prosecutor said Booker, a mother of 6, did I say 5 before? Yes, she's a mother of 6, is one of 2 women who Jackson beat in the head multiple times with a hammer on February 27th. That was the first attempted murder. Police said the encounter almost killed Booker. Nearly 2 months after that alleged hammer attack, police found Booker unalived, basically gone, in her car near 13th and Villa on April 24th with multiple injuries, including a gunshot wound to the head. Okay? 3 women, Alicia Sykes, Carmelita Walker, and Diamond Hood, these 3 women, are accused of helping and letting Jackson, who is a felon, stay in their homes. So they were hiding him out. Those 2 months that we were talking about, after he attempted to murder them back in February, That's why the cops were not, because they were trying to find him the first time for the attempted murder. And they weren't able to find him because these 3 sick women, who I believe should also be held accountable for this, which they are, were hiding this man. And their ultimate reason, they're one of the proximate causes, I believe, the causal connections to why this woman is gone. Because but for them hiding him in their house, the cops would have found him, he would have been arrested, and Brittany would have been alive today. Okay? So we got to teach these women too to not support men that engage in domestic violence also. And the thing is, they knew about the prior incident. Let's go into the article that talks about it. Investigators said Sykes told them Jackson is her cousin. So Sykes is the woman in the middle that I talked to you guys about. Let's go back and look at her photo. Oh, sorry, the one on the side. This is Sykes. When they talk about Sykes, that's Hood. And, what is this girl's name? I don't remember. Oh, I don't remember her name, but we'll get to her name. But Sykes is the woman with the shorter hair. She's the cousin. She's related. So they said, where are we at here? Investigators said Sykes told them Jackson is her cousin. He called her and asked for a ride to Texas shortly after the February incident. That was the first attempted murder. Police said in early March that Sykes and Walker hopped in the car, traveled from Racine, that's Wisconsin, to Chicago. So that was the first incident in February. They gave him a ride to Chicago first. He left the state of Wisconsin to get to Chicago to escape, to hide out during the first incident. Okay? So you guys got to take notes on this because there's a lot going on. So they go to Chicago, then picked up Jackson, dropped him off in Texas. So I don't know how he got to Chicago, but somehow he got to Chicago. I guess he used the SUV from the other girlfriend, the one in the middle, the prior girlfriend. They were in a relationship before. Then the cousin comes, picks him up from Chicago, drops him off in Texas. This is during the 2 months he's traveling to these different states trying to hide out and escape being arrested. Sykes told the police that Jackson returned to Racine shortly after being dropped off in Texas. And why did he return back to Racine? So the first time in February, he brutally tries to kill these women. He thinks they're dead. So he starts beginning his escape, going to these different states, hiding out, has his cousin and other girlfriends facilitating and aiding and abetting and helping him escape, hiding him out in their houses, taking him over to Chicago, then giving him a ride over to Texas so he can escape being arrested. He learns that Brittany is not dead. You know, one of the witnesses that, you know, the reason why he was initially angry in the first place is she's not dead. So he has to go back to Racine to finish the job. That's why it says in this article that he went back to Racine. That's the only reason why he went back there, was to finish the job, to take poor Brittany's life. So sad. Okay? Court documents state Hood and Jackson had a relationship. So who is Hood? Hood is this little scandalous girl here. Sorry, guys, I'm so mad at these people. Diamond Hood had a prior relationship. This is the cousin. Carmelita Walker, I don't know. She is probably the friend of the cousin because they both were in the car. These two drive to Chicago to drive him to Texas. These were the two in the car. So I believe maybe she was a friend who knew of Jackson, but they were in the car. They drove him to Texas. This was a prior girlfriend, had a relationship. So they said court documents say Hood and Jackson had a relationship. Hood admitted to law enforcement that she knew Jackson assaulted Booker with a hammer. Hood also told officials she let Jackson use her SUV and stay at her home. So not only did she give him the mode of operation, the vehicle to drive and commit these crimes. So he used that vehicle to get to the house of Brittany to take her life. But she also hid him in her house during this time. There's actually an actual series on TV that says, you know, I forgot what it's called, For My Man. You know that show, guys, For My Man? This is a case of a woman doing something for her man. It's just sad, just unacceptable. The documents also state Jackson used used her vehicle, her SUV, in the alleged February hammer attack. So when the first incident happened in February, it was her car that he was in. Then he used her same car to drive to Booker's home and take her life in April. So that was the car that was used to get to these to commit the two crimes. She is charged in connection to the homicide. So these people are sick. These three people are all a part of helping him, give him resources to commit these devastating crimes, but also give them the transportation and the ability to hide out from the cops. They should all be held accountable under the same penalties as him, because they essentially gave him the ability to commit these crimes. Search for Jackson. So officials say Jackson is 5'9" inches tall. He weighs 210 pounds. Police say if you see him, you should not approach him because he's dangerous. This man does not want to go back to jail. That's really the motive for him engaging in violence, is he doesn't want to go back to jail at this point. The reason why he assaulted his girlfriend is people are saying, I think the man's just a controlling, abusive man because he has a history of it. This is one of his photos from a prior incident, so we know he's been in jail before. But I think he was very controlling with his girlfriend. She didn't want to be in a relationship with him. She wants to get her items to leave him. His mindset is, if I can't have you, no one can. Then he sees Brittany calling the police. He does not want to go back to jail. He doesn't want to leave any witnesses. He takes their life. So this man is armed and dangerous in that he will take the life of anyone that tries to facilitate his arrest in any way. So the Racine Police Department and the Racine District Attorney Office will arrest and prosecute anyone found and aided Jackson in either way. So this case it frustrates me because this man is still on the run to this day, guys. He's probably hopping from state to state. He's got family members, friends, all these people aiding and abetting. He also has a daughter that some people are commenting on the Facebook post. They believe that he could be with one of his kids' daughter hiding out in that situation. I was trying to see if I could find his Facebook so we can go on his Facebook, but I don't know. I may not get too lucky on that. But what can we learn from this case? Because that's the reason why I wanted to talk about this case is because I want us to talk about some things that we can learn. This is a very sad tragedy. This woman was 30 years old, lost her life. Her 6 kids are without a mother now. Very sad because she was being loyal to protect her friend. So here's the thing about domestic violence cases. I used to be a criminal prosecutor, and one of my specialties as a prosecutor was prosecuting domestic violence cases. And it is one of the most dangerous cases that we can usually talk about in criminal matters because anyone who tries to intervene in a domestic violence case will lose their life also, or are at a significant risk of losing their life. Anyone. Police officers, there's many incidents where police officers will tell you that one of the most dangerous crimes that they come to is domestic violence cases. They already know that because most of the time there's shootouts and a lot of these cops get attacked, killed at these incidents. But not only that, family members, friends, anyone who tries to intervene in a domestic violence incident are at risk. And there has been many, many cases out there where they lose their life also. So we have to provide assistance at a distance. Although I know that we have a caring heart, people want to protect your friends and family. But in order to preserve your life and the safety of even third parties around, you have to provide assistance at distance. That means if you're in a situation where you witness a domestic violence situation, immediately get away from the incident, find a safe location, and then when you are out of the dangerous situation, then you call the police. You call the police outside of the area. Because if you're in an area, you're calling the police or whatever, it further escalates and aggravates the person if they see you in the vicinity trying to, they think, intervene with their violent situation with their partner. So first and foremost, get out of the area, call the police. Okay, that's the first thing. Second thing, with this domestic violence cases, as much as we want our friends and families to get out of the relationship, we have to, unfortunately, allow the friend or the family member to make the choice on their own, because a lot of times it's really a complicated situation for individuals to leave. They might have emotional ties to the individuals. They might have family, kids with the person. They might be married. And a lot of these victims have a hard time separating from the individual. So you can provide resources to them, but more in a form at a distance, saying, hey, give them phone numbers to shelters. Say, here's a number to a shelter. Give them phone numbers to resources to get out of the situation, and give them encouragement and be loving and supportive. But don't be in the area intervening physically in the incident, because it only endangers your life and it can put you at risk of losing your life. Another thing, if you know that you are in a dangerous situation like this, where Brittany knew that she was in danger. Her father talked about it in a prior interview. I actually can't find the interview right now, but I watched an interview of the father saying that she was already terrified. The next few months, she was hiding out. She was running away. As soon as she got out of her car at her house, she'd run into her house. She knew that he knew that she lived. She knew he was on the run. He wasn't arrested yet. So if there's a situation like that, you shouldn't even be at that house anymore. You gotta stay with a family member until this person is taken in custody where he doesn't know where you live. You're gonna have to move. Unfortunately, you may have to move. If you can't move, you don't have the financials to move, stay at a family member or a friend's house where you know for sure he doesn't know where you are. You may have to leave the state for a particular time frame. You may have to stay in a shelter for a particular time frame. You may have to change some of your physical identity to protect yourself. You may have to change your daily routine. Talk to your boss and notify your boss if you're in a dangerous situation like this to keep yourself safe, because Brittany already knew that she was in danger. She told her family and friends she was scared of it. Also, get a firearm. Take some firearm classes. Learn how to shoot effectively and efficiently. If you do have to stay in the house, which I don't recommend, but if you do and you have nowhere else to go, then you're going to have to take safety measures. You got to put security into your house, and so that it is set up where if there's any type of breach, window breach, door breach, any form of breach, you're immediately alerted with an alarm so that it wakes you up. You have to be alerted with that alarm. You got to have a firearm. You got to be able to know how to use that firearm. You need to have a night light. There's certain firearms that are used for night situations where you can't see, so that you can just basically press a light. There's a light on the firearm so that you can see where to aim if you're in a dangerous situation. You need one of those type of firearms if you have to be in the house. And because the issue is they're going to try to catch you in the most vulnerable time, which is at night when you're asleep and your defenses are down. Sleep with your bedroom door locked, because that gives you time. If someone's trying to break into your door and your door is locked, it gives you time to at least kind of wake up, get your firearm, to prepare yourself if you're in a dangerous situation like that. I'd also recommend too, if you have no choice and you have to stay in this place, I really don't recommend, if you know you're in a situation like Brittany when she knew she was in a dangerous situation, I just don't think it's the safe thing to be at that house. If you know he knows where you are, he or she, you gotta just change your routine up, get a shelter, stay with a family member. But if you have to, then you're gonna have to, like I said, get an alarm system, firearm. And I also recommend getting some bars on the windows so that the person's gonna have a hard time trying to get into your house. Have like a bar fence on your door. Get a guard dog. You can get a guard dog as well if you have to do that. But given that she's a single parent woman, those are some of the safety measures that she could have took. But I really think, number one, the safe thing is just to stay out of the actual physical domestic violence situation. If you have a friend or family member, you have to provide assistance at a distance. Like I said, at a distance. You can provide resources. You call the police when you're in a safe location. Not only that, but her child wasn't endangered because her child was in her arms at the situation. And by in no means am I putting any blame on at all on Brittany. She was just being a friend. I'm just saying for us to learn from the situation, because this is a good story to talk about in terms of domestic violence not only endangers the victim herself or the person who's involved in the relationship. It endangers any person, family member, friend, police officer, whatever, who tries to intervene in these domestic violence incidents as the violence is occurring. So it's important that we talk about these cases so we know how to take safety measures, because I know there's a lot of sweet people out there who have the most beautiful heart and they want to help, which is a good thing to try to help in these cases, but you got to protect yourself also. Not only you're protecting the person, but you got to protect yourself. So I'm trying to figure out tools that we can implement if there's a situation where you have a friend that's involved in a domestic violence situation like Brittany had, sadly, and she lost her life. And now her friend is going to live with this forever guilt when she is, I don't know if she's awake yet or what's going on with her condition, but people are saying she's still in the hospital. But when she is aware that her friend is now gone, she has to live with that guilt. The 6 kids have to live without a mother now. It's just so many people are at a loss because of this. And this man, what really irks my nerve about this man is still on the run. He has not been caught yet, because there are people out there, family members, friends, that are supporting this man, hiding this man, and giving him the resources, the transportation. So I believe even though there's 3 women already arrested, you guys, I really think as this case unfolds, I think there's going to be a lot more people that are going to be arrested, because there's a lot more people that are aiding and abetting this guy. There's people that support this man and what he has done. It's very sick. It's sick and unacceptable. I'm trying to see if I can find. Yeah, let's see. I found before his Facebook page. Let's see if we can get lucky. But I don't think I'm going to get lucky because my internet is bad today. I'm not sure what's going on. But I found before this guy's Facebook page. There he is. Let me see. This is this guy's Facebook page right here. So let's just take a look at his Facebook page here. Just to see a little bit about him. Because if you guys happen to run across and see him, call authorities. Don't approach him, but call authorities, because we need to get this guy in jail. He is very dangerous. So here he is. He lives in, that's where this incident happened, Racine, Wisconsin. I don't think he's in Wisconsin anymore, you guys. I think he has kids too. What a sick man. He has kids over here killing people. So he's from Chicago, Illinois. We already know about Chicago. Everybody know about him, Chicago. Here is a photo of him. This doesn't even look like him. I think he filtered this photo, because this is nothing like this man. I don't know why. Because watch, when we look at these other photos, this is the real him. Look at this man. Wait, sorry. Look at this man. He just looks like he's a violent person. He looks scary in the face. So he has multiple kids. Okay. Couldn't really get too many photos of him, but I want to get some so you guys can get a look. He looks like to be a kind of a short guy, though. He doesn't look like he has much height. And a lot of those people men that are on the shorter end can be more aggressive because they feel like their manhood is somewhat compromised because of their height. So sometimes they're a little bit more aggressive to try to, I don't know why they do it, but to account for their height, I guess. So they engage in more hostility and aggression to basically appear more tough. So here's some more photos of him. And the interesting part is, I don't know, Facebook tries to make these people look so sweet and innocent, but they're not. And he should be ashamed of himself with all them kids he has, and he's not being a good example to the kids. But he has a daughter, and there's an allegation out there that his daughter may be hiding him out now. Like I said, so as this case unfolds, you guys will find that there's going to be a lot more people arrested for hiding this guy. That's why he is still getting away from being held accountable. All right, guys. So just keep Brittany Booker in your prayers. Keep her father in your prayers, her 6 children. This is just a sad, sad case that just really, really touched me and captivated me. And I wanted to share with you guys because there's some lessons that we can learn from it that can save a life, that can save, because a lot of us have those family members and friends that are in DV cases. And, you know, we want to protect our family members and friends, but there's just certain ways we can intervene, but we have to, this is my saying, assistance at a distance. That's the takeaway from this case is, well, you have to do it at a distance where you're still safe. And, you know, I know you want to protect your family members and friends. You have your beautiful heart, but you also have to protect yourself. And sadly, Brittany Booker has lost her life in a horrible, sad way because she was trying to be a loyal, good friend. That's all she wanted to do was protect her friend. But yeah, this man, Terry Jackson, is still on the run. If you are, I don't know, he could either be found in the Texas area where he normally, he has some ties there. He has some ties in Chicago, Illinois. I highly doubt that he's still in Wisconsin unless someone's hiding him. I think he might have already fled to a different state. Just not sure exactly what other states he could possibly be in. All right, guys, thank you so much for listening. Like, comment, and subscribe. And let me know in the comments what you guys think about this case. What was your view of it? What do you guys think we can learn from this? I would really be interested in hearing what you guys think we can learn from this, because I do these cases to educate and us to learn and figure out ways where we can protect another life and hopefully save someone else from the stories that we are hearing about, as well as showing empathy and bringing to life the stories of these individuals who tragically died prematurely. All right, guys, take care and have a wonderful evening. Like, comment, and subscribe.